Peace Reflections. Welcome back to another chance and opportunity. Shout out to the Most High Chief Babaji for the knowledge. So, today I would like to talk about neuroscience and epigenetics. So, neuroscience is the study of the brain, and neuroscience tells us that 95% of our mind is dictated by the subconscious mind, whereas only 5% of the mind is dictated by the conscious mind. So, really, we aren't in control of our lives as much as we thought we were. Our subconscious mind literally dictates our reality. So is there a way to take control of our reality? Yes. So we can do so by aligning our mind with that which helps us grow. We don't realize, but the moment that we experience something through our nervous system, we become one with that thing. The more attention we give to that thing, the more likely we are to project it into our reality. I can give you an example. So say you're watching a TV and the commercial break comes on, and you're not really paying attention. You're fiddling with your phone. But next thing you know, you have a craving for, let's say, cookies and beer. Little do you know, those commercials that you paid next to no attention to were advertising cookies and beer during the commercial break. See, the subconscious mind, it's recording everything, all sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. So this is why we teach about practicing S.E.X. What is S.E.X? S.E.X stands for Sacred Energy Exchange. We must have a sacred energy exchange with our reality. Otherwise, we will be prisoners to our minds and fulfilling the desires of our lower self, further plunging us into darkness. So this is where epigenetics comes in. So what is epigenetics? Epigenetics is the study of how our behavior and environment have a temporary effect on our genetic expression. What this means is, based on our behavior and environment, with things such as food, drink, people, places, TV, music, etc., we mutate our genes to accommodate our behavior and environment. So essentially it's all comes down to survival. So going back to neuroscience and how 95% of our mind, which is our DNA, is dictated by our subconscious, we know that we need to practice sacred energy exchange in order to unlock our DNA and have a greater control over our minds. Sacred energy exchanges are things like being peopletarian, which means only be around people who are healthy for us. Being in an environment that doesn't hinder or act as an obstacle but allows us to flourish. Eating foods that don't make us sick or vulnerable to disease like GMOs or pesticide-riddled foods do, but only eating organic, whole foods that are conducive to our DNA. Removing shoes and walking barefoot where possible to connect to the telluric energy of the planet, which will help balance the electricity in the body and alkalize it. Refraining from putting chemicals in our hair and straightening it, and instead locking our hair, which will heighten our senses by effectively communicating with our environment. All these things are examples of sacred energy exchanges, and these acts cause our DNA to express itself naturally as intended. And instead of being an artificial intelligence or a bot or a battery, we come into our power as a being with organic intelligence, tapping into the technologies of our body that have been forgotten over time. This is why it's important that we understand the reality we live in and view things in an objective perspective. By looking at things objectively, we align ourselves with truth. By aligning ourselves with truth, we reprogram the subconscious mind to be in our favor instead of working against us. So, that 95% that is the unconscious, we fill it with only truth. The only things that can be proven, have evidence, are factual, and therefore irrefutable. By doing this, we align our conscious mind and our subconscious mind with one another and then are able to take control of our reality. So, to summarize, neuroscience tells us that 95% of the mind is the subconscious mind. 5% is the conscious mind. Conscious mind is what we have control over. Epigenetics tells us that our behavior and environment affect our genes. Through epigenetics, we can cleanse ourselves to where we can clearly receive and transmit information. And it's very important that we adopt an objective perspective in order to anchor us to reality and have confidence in ourselves to where we can dissolve delusion, confusion, misunderstanding in ourselves and others. By doing these things, we can come into our power as gods of this earth. Though that's just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much that we can do to raise our vibrational frequency. It just goes to show how far man has fallen, that the average human being has to go to such lengths to truly be free. Our reflections. I love myself. Peace.